Now, if you're in the market looking for a compact sub 15-inch gaming laptop, you would have probably shortlisted the Asus ROG Zephyrus G14. We did take a look at that before, and we've got to say that we still have fond memories of our time with it. It's one of our favorite gaming laptops. So this year, Asus has gone ahead and revamped the G14, and it comes with a slight twist. You see, the previous model paired the incredibly capable AMD Ryzen 9 5900HS alongside the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060, and needless to say, that has been a great combo. But this time, there isn't a blue or green sticker anywhere. It's all red, so let's talk about this. If you're familiar with the G14, well, there's quite a lot of the same this year, but at the same time, quite a bit different. It's still going to be quite the gorgeous and compact design in that 14-inch form factor. Pair that with the moonlight white colorway, which blends a primarily white chassis with silver accents, and it makes for a really stunning looking laptop. Personally, this was the laptop that made me want to go and grab a white laptop for myself. To top that off, even with all that performance crammed inside it, the entire laptop weighs just about 1.7 kilograms or about 3.8 pounds. Now, it is slightly heavier than the previous model, but this is still really portable. You can easily slip it into any decently sized bag without worry. There is also a version with the Anime Matrix display, which allows you to customize to your liking and show various different animations and more. That has been upgraded to feature more precision CNC milled holes to allow for more mini LEDs, which themselves have been upgraded to be much more vibrant. While we don't have that version here, the standard version features a prismatic film underneath those holes, which reflects a rainbow hue when viewed at certain angles. Paired with the ROG nameplate in the corner with a new lustrous blue hue, it really makes for a minimalistic yet beautiful look. When you lift open the lid, you will also realize that with this generation, it can open up to a full 180 degrees, completely flat on the desk. I'm pretty sure that the previous 110 degrees was more than adequate and no one is going to use this flat, but being able to rest it at any angle in between is definitely a nice touch. As we move downwards, you will also notice that the keyboard deck, or the internal chassis if you will, features that same moonlight white colorway like the lid. This is unlike the previous model, which featured a more two-tone white and silver design. In my personal opinion, this looks much better and gives the laptop a much more uniform look. For the keyboard itself, it too gets the same treatment and it just feels great. The overall layout is the same as before, with the 4 additional dedicated keys in the top left corner, and you also get a choice between white backlight or single zone RGB depending on the model. Though we have to say that it doesn't get all that bright. But the typing experience is stellar and it's really comfortable for typing or gaming for long hours on end. And as for the trackpad, this gets a huge upgrade. It's about 50% larger compared to the previous model, and this just makes it incredibly awesome to use. There's so much more space now that you don't feel constricted, and the glass surface just makes gestures really smooth. 2 thumbs up here. Talking about speakers, this is pretty nice, but also just a little bit weird at the same time. Asus has moved the speakers up to the top, which means the speakers won't be obstructed by your hands any longer. But in terms of quality, it still falls a little short. It could have been better, but yep, at least it's in a better position now. Ports-wise, you're gonna get plenty. On the right, you have 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A ports and a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C port, which will support DisplayPort output, as well as a UHS 2 micro SD card reader. On the left, you get your power input, HDMI 2.0B, another USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C port, but this time supporting DisplayPort and power delivery up to 100 watts, as well as the 3.5mm combo jack. Goes without saying that since we aren't on the blue team here, there isn't Thunderbolt 3 or Thunderbolt 4 support, but nonetheless, it's still a pretty impressive set of I/O. In terms of upgradability, you don't get much. There's just a single DDR5 RAM slot, the other half is soldered onto the motherboard, and there's only a single M.2 NVMe drive that will already be populated. Not the best here for sure, but perhaps one of the biggest upgrades compared to the previous generation is the display. Asus has decided to enlarge the display ever so slightly by going with a 16:10 aspect ratio while still keeping that same 14-inch form factor. The higher end option still remains roughly the same, coming in at 2560x1600 and runs at 120Hz, but now boasts a 3 millisecond response time. The best part is that this is also part of the ROG Nebula display standard, and thus it also covers 100% DCI-P3, is Pantone validated, and can hit a max brightness of about 500 nits. By far and large, this is an absolutely brilliant display. It's great for consuming content, it's been vastly improved and enhances the gaming experience. it's just great. One thing to note is that despite the slightly larger display, Asus has managed to cram in a webcam as well. The webcam isn't all that great, featuring just a 720p image and the microphones are passable at best. But the fact remains that you have a webcam now, so if you need it, it's there and you have it. But we now come to the main difference that separates this generation from the previous. This generation of G14 is now an all AMD system. For our model specifically, this has an AMD Ryzen 9 6900HS alongside a Radeon RX 6700S with 16GB of RAM and 1TB of PCIe 4.0 SSD storage. So with it running an all AMD system, this also grants it access to certain specific features that's only available to such a configuration, such as AMD Smart Shift. So for our particular model, that Radeon RX 6700S can utilize up to 100 watts with Smart Shift. So if that's it, let's start with the benchmarks, starting with Cinebench R23. As you can see, the performance in both performance and turbo profiles are pretty respectable. The Ryzen 9 draws about 50 watts in the performance profile and about 72 watts in the turbo profile. All in all, it performed rather similarly to most other laptops that feature a 12th Gen Core i7 or Core i9 in this form factor. In DaVinci Resolve, it also managed 4K edits pretty well, managing to render out our 10-minute 4K test project in just under real time. But let's talk about gaming because this is a Zephyrus. We tested at both 1080p and 1440p using the turbo profile. Honestly, despite our model only being equipped with the more reasonable Radeon RX 6700S, the results are pretty great and puts it somewhere between the RTX 3060 and RTX 3070 while drawing significantly less power. Though turbos are on the hotter side of things, it is still well under control with the CPU and GPU keeping below that 90°C mark. On the plus side, it doesn't get that loud at all, even on the turbo profile. This is mostly thanks to the vapor chamber cooling and the use of liquid metal for both the CPU and the GPU. All in all, really impressive performance in a compact package. Exactly what the G14 is all about. But that's not all, because thanks to the shift to an all AMD system, battery life is honestly quite a surprise as well. You could easily get about 8 hours of battery life just with casual use, as long as you set the graphics to hybrid mode and turn on eco. What's there to say? The G14 is just a really solid laptop and we are really liking it. But of course, let's talk about price. For this particular configuration, it will set you back about $1650 and if you opt for the one with the higher end RX 6800S, that will set you back roughly $1900. At the time of this review, these two configurations aren't available in Singapore, but there will be a model with a Ryzen 7 6800HS and a Radeon RX 6800S for just under 3300 Singapore dollars. But to sum up everything, we think that Asus has pretty much got a winner here with the latest ROG Zephyrus G14. It's a really great package. If you're looking for something that's compact, 14 inches, looks great, performs great, it's relatively light to carry around and portable everywhere, and has great battery life to boot, this is it. This is something that you should seriously consider. It's really great. If you have any questions, let us know in the comment section down below. If you'd like to, do check out the affiliate links as well. If you do, thanks for the support. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Till the next one. See ya!